Now the underside, so air, so like it's space. The board is free from the cover. So now I got both covers. But there's just, I mean, it's a really clean computer still. So it's well, not really clean, but you know, it, basically just doing this for educational purposes and also cleaning the fan. I thought but the thing is, the fan and this chip right here, which also might have some stickers. So that's actually the motherboard and stuff. So, and to clean up and and there's screws on this side, which it's going to be a process basically. That another Intel chip might be a graphics chip, stuff like that. There's even this right here, which is probably the micro SD, which is interesting, and they cover a few things with some plastic, I would call it. But cleaning this board up is going to be, and the covers is going to be possible. So there's three main things to really clean up, and dealing with these screws and things like that. Well, I can, but there are going to be some tough spots to spray paint or even covering up with tape and paper so that I don't ruin too much of the original paint or look. But there's definitely a lot of stuff to paint eventually, or cover up and then start painting. So I'm going to try to work on that. As I mentioned, these screws are going to be, there's only 6 or 7 of them for now, but and then I could start cleaning up thermal paste and stuff. That's going to be fun to start working on after the initial. It's going to be tough because I actually should put back the screw fans, and then I've got to clean the fan while it's on the board and stuff. So I'm going to clean up first, is where I'm kind of at. Clean up some of the tape and stickers, and then probably going to tape up on the other side just because it's a different silver, and basically there's a couple of pieces of tape, and hopefully it's going to fit. It's not going to fit all the way this way, but for the first piece I'm going to, and I don't think I could fit the screws in, so I'm probably going to just lay it at the bottom and then close the flaps when the overspray approaches. And the same thing with this other piece. So hopefully, um, then I've got a few screws, so I'm keeping the screws, separated and at certain points. This is pretty much the inside screws. Um, so I've got some peroxide right here. I just need a couple of my cleaning brushes, or even starting to, or just having a piece of like a cardboard box, motherboard in this box, and then this stuff. So the first thing I'm assuming is to clean up this motherboard. It still has a power connector connected onto there, and then so I could just do this right away. I'm probably going to have like a rag underneath for any overspray and stuff. Need to be careful about the screws. Try not to lose the... Right now I'm going to probably turn on the air compressor and just start cleaning up these pieces. So I guess I have some newspaper, a couple pieces, and then it's mainly like the fan. Kind of spray some stuff there, and then I've got to get some of the brushes and basically start to clean up. Also have like a sock or something to for any overspray and even wiping down. I don't want to try to overload the spray on everything, but I'm kind of hoping like the air compressor could just spray off a lot of stuff, but some of the ports and even some of this wire right here, this power cable. This is just mainly for the motherboard. I just gonna try to just keep it intact since I know it was working and stuff, and just um like sometimes it's really flexible in some areas, so I gotta pay attention. But mainly the fan, and also the fan's gonna come off when I put clean up the thermal paste, so I could clean that again. But so that's mostly all for this motherboard. I'm not going to spray over everything, which I can, and just rub in the peroxide, but I'm probably going to just it would be nice to try something like that. But so now I just gotta find a place to put it. So I'm going to try to get the box underneath, and then I'm going to clean up the stuff that's in here, which is probably going to be 100% cleaner. And then I'm probably going to leave the newspaper with the motherboard. Try to get it, and then this is going to basically free up whatever was underneath, and it's not really that important, but and I notice, there's just this aluminum shield again on some of these. So I'm just gonna lay it in a box on top of there, just moving stuff around so I could clean things up and then work on a few things. So with some of these other pieces, it's going to be really cleaner, or it's going to be a lot cleaner. Just remove as much tape as I can. So I got a bunch of tape off, and then even some of these stickers, if I could peel it off, and then I'm going to actually do the same thing and spray paint. But I'm just kind of getting this stuff ready. I should be, and then I'm going to get the screws ready. The screws are probably going to get painted first, and then these individual pieces. So I got most of the stickers. There are going to be some sticker spots where I could touch, like spot clean it, basically just have some cleaners and brush or a scraping tool to clean it up. So let's go ahead and spray on some of this cleaner, like wherever I then I could probably just wipe off a lot, but I've got the brushes and stuff, so I clean that side. I use the brush to get into any of the crevices, and then I'm just going to spray and brush this side, hopefully, and then I'm going to air compress it, and then probably so I'm using this small long bristles. It's pretty good, bristly. But the air compressor is going to really like spray out a lot of the dust and issues with things. Just so kind of brushing, and basically as I mentioned, spray painting is going to make things look a lot cleaner, I would say. But before that, just like this computer was really clean. Wasn't really doing too bad as far as um, something wrong with it. Just kind of making double cleaning if I, but you know, just around some spots that this brush could really get to. Especially like right here. So I'm actually going to air compress this, you know, before I start the other one. It's going to basically be okay. I don't even think I need to use a newspaper, but maybe I could use a sock to hold it. So, all right, so it's mostly clean though. The air compressor is starting to lose a certain amount of. Well, yeah, there are some touch-up spots when this gets a little cleaner, and then, but you know, hopefully, like the PSI on the air compressor pressure seems a little low. So, but yeah, there are going to be some touch-up spots, but so same thing here. And even some of the sticker, you know, residue, it could guide me to on the final assembly and stuff. So there are some boards and things situated within this this part. I should be careful. And have like the air compressor do most of the cleaning and the detail cleaning, I would say. So hopefully so so yeah, spray painting, just getting most of the prep finished up, I think, and then trying to avoid spraying on stuff that I know that shouldn't be sprayed, especially this chip. But kind of letting the disinfectant kind of work in harder crevices and you know, basically the air compressor also a lot of this stuff basically deal with most of the spots that I can't get to. So there's you know, definitely stuff. These are the speakers, and I spray towards the bottom, I'm assuming, and then I kind of flip it while I'm cleaning this stuff. Right, so there's this last piece I did. Yeah, you know, once I use a certain amount of 90 psi, it starts to really soften up the spray. So like every, you know, 1 minute,